Welcome back to the channel. Let me catch you up to where we are right now. I've been back in Pennsylvania for about a month. I got here on July 31st. The first few days were a whirlwind. I stayed in my sister's driveway for the first 2 nights. Popped my roof nest. It was great. And then on August 2nd, I came to look at an apartment in an old mill. So it's industrial, it's a loft apartment, it's amazing. I wanted it on site, filled out the paperwork, got approved on the same day, and then I drove around the block because I wanted to look at the building one more time. And as I was driving through the parking lot, looking at the building with love and admiration, I wasn't looking where I was going and literally drove into a light pole with a cement base, and thankfully didn't total the BRT. It was ridiculous. It was so dumb. I mean, I have traversed the United States probably 5 or 6 times without any incident at all. After I crashed the BRT, I called my insurance. I have USAA because I'm an Air Force veteran. They told me the collision centers that they work with in this part of Pennsylvania. I drove it right to the collision center. Thankfully, the insurance adjuster walked around the car and just on cursory inspection said it was completely repairable. It was all just body damage. I didn't damage the engine or the suspension, or it was such a relief because after I dropped the BRT off at the collision center, they told me that it could take 2 to 3 weeks to fix it. So I picked up a rental, which was thankfully included under my insurance coverage. And I drove back to my sister's house and moved inside to stay in the basement. The accident was conveniently timed with the fact that I was going to get on the AT in Pennsylvania and hike for 2 weeks. That was the initial plan. Well, actually, the initial plan was to hike the entire state of Pennsylvania over like 21 to 23 days. The plan first changed because of a family picnic that's held annually that I have not been to in a bunch of years, and I really wanted to go to that. So then I shortened the trip to 2 weeks. Well, like 17 or 18 days. I was gonna hike until the day before the picnic and then get off the trail. And just get as far as I could get. But then my younger son decided he wanted to come for the picnic, and his flight was coming in on a day that shortened the trip to 14 days, or 15 days of hiking and 14 nights on the trail. But then there was a heat wave. I decided to get off the trail after 8 days of walking, not necessarily because of the heat, but when there's a heat wave on the East Coast, there's so much moisture, there's so much humidity that heat waves generally bring severe thunderstorms along with them. And that makes the trail unsafe. I had been really successful at shelter hopping, which the shelters are really sturdy, and they're not 100% safe because they're wooden structures. If a tree falls on a shelter, I'm sure it could still get crushed, but it's a shelter. So on the day that I decided to get off the trail, I knew that the next shelter was 18 miles up the trail, and the heat of that heat wave was so hot that I don't think I would have been able to reach that shelter 18 miles up the trail in a timely fashion. So I made the wise decision to call my niece and get picked up. 99.2 miles later, my niece picked me up and I came home. Fast forward to today. This is the first real walk I've been on since I got off the AT. This trail is conveniently located about maybe 600 feet from the old mill that I moved into. And will serve as just a really nice, beautiful, convenient space to walk every day. I just need to remember to put the deed on next time. It's a little bit buggy. So yeah, got back from the AT, spent the weekend at my sister's house, picked up another rental to use, and then the following Monday I got the keys to the loft apartment and slowly moved my few possessions into the apartment, ordered furniture from a couple of places. I got a club chair and ottoman and 2 twin mattresses from Bob's Discount Furniture. I have no idea if they're a nationwide furniture chain, but the pieces of furniture I got from them are lovely. a loft bed and a twin bed and a dresser from IKEA that took several days to build. And a couple of their little square tables. I also picked up staples like dishes, bowls, silverware, knives, pots and pans. You guys, I needed everything because for the last 3 solid years I've been living in Airbnbs or out of my truck, camping. The first night I spent in the new apartment, my sister came over and we started to build the IKEA loft. I don't know if you've ever built IKEA furniture. It is not a fun endeavor. So we're sitting there, we're building, and a big thunderstorm rolled in, dumping heavy rain. And as we're building this loft, we hear this tapping sound. And I said to my sister, "Tell me it's not raining in the apartment." And we got up and we tried to investigate where the tapping sound was coming from. And sure enough, it was raining in the apartment. So, what do you do when it's raining in an apartment? Thankfully, there was really nothing set up yet. We moved everything away from the corner where the rain was coming in, called the manager to tell him that it was raining in the apartment, and went back to building the loft. I mean, I'm pretty certified hiker trash, and I thought to myself, well, it's not even as wet and rainy as an AT shelter. That's a good thing. I spent the whole night building that loft because my sister eventually went home and I was just determined to get that thing built. Somehow I managed to stand the loft up and hoist the mattress up into the loft. I mean, the mattress was rolled up and compressed, so I just put it up there with the packaging and carefully opened it once it was up there. And yeah, I was successful. And then I just stayed up all day because that was the day that my son came to town. And while I waited for his plane to arrive, I built the other twin bed, which I am using as a day bed / couch in the apartment. After building that loft and the bed, the twin bed, I had to take a break for a few days because I was really tired. We enjoyed the family picnic. I dropped Galen back off at the airport the day after the picnic, and then I built the dresser. And then finally, this past week, I started picking up daily shift work, and I applied for a permanent position in a surgery center in the town next to the town that I live in. and I got offered the job. So now you are all caught up. Right, okay. That's it for this episode. It's starting to rain, so I need to start hiking with purpose. And I will see you next time.